the path just completely disappears into the snow. Okay, so I got a glamping tent for the night. Actually, 2 nights. Let's take a look in here. What? Amazing. Yeah, this is legit the fanciest camping experience I've ever had, so this is kind of fun. There really weren't a whole lot of options near Yellowstone that weren't like exorbitantly overpriced as far as lodging goes, and there were some boondocking sites, but it looked like there wasn't going to be any like cell service in any of them. I could also kind of use a shower, and I was just like, yeah, why not? It's an experience, so this is cool. So I'm driving through western Montana right now, heading towards the Pacific Northwest. Just nothing but evergreen trees anywhere you look. It's like beautiful but very rugged too. Yeah, this is wild. I've been all the way to the Pacific Ocean in Southern California, but I've never been to the Pacific Northwest before. It's kind of cool though. It's like kind of checking off a little new area of the map that is previously unexplored.
Interstate 90 runs from Boston on its eastern end all the way out to Seattle. I had been following it across most of the country and it was now leading me into Washington State. When I think of Washington State, the image that first comes to my mind are endless evergreen forests and rocky coastlines, not necessarily desert landscapes. A lot of Washington, though, especially on its eastern end, is pretty arid and you have to pass through some desert to get to the wooded areas on the western side of the state. I now have my sights set on Mount Rainier National Park. As I began to go further up in elevation, I started getting into some of the more forested areas that the state is known for.
Going up in elevation, my ears just popped. Looks like I have a series of switchbacks coming up.
I passed through a section of the national park on my way towards a campsite that I would be staying at for the night. I got my first big view of the mountain and contemplated the adventure that would come on the next day.
I've been staying at a campground in the national forest just outside of Mount Rainier National Park. It's really pretty around here. I got this little trail that goes up to a river. Just going for a little bit of a walk on it now. Yeah, these trees are huge. All this moss everywhere. It's cool. That's the river down there. You can see it's all cloudy I believe it's glacial runoff water. It's very cold.
After my morning walk in the woods, it was time to head into the national park.
So far, I've just been going up a whole bunch of switchbacks. My ears just popped. Definitely some elevation gain here. These evergreen forests of the Pacific Northwest are just so dense. It's wild. I'm on my way right now to the first real destination that I'm going to go to in this park, which is called Grove of the Patriots. It's supposed to be a site of some just absolutely massive trees. Not sure if they're quite on the scale of what you would find in like the redwood forests, but they're supposed to be huge, so this should be pretty cool. Some of the trees I've already seen around here have been pretty giant. Okay, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do that. Wah, wah, wah. I don't think I've actually seen Mount Rainier so far today. Oh, it's just up in a cloud. You can't even see the peak of it. Wow.
With Grove of the Patriarchs being closed and Mount Rainier obscured by cloud cover, I was starting to have my doubts about this day. I stopped to take in a few more sights while I tried to come up with a plan.
Box Canyon of the Cowlitz? This might be kind of how today goes. Sort of just driving around and checking things out. I mean, that is sort of the national park thing to do, right? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of these peaks that are like way up in the clouds that you can't really see. I think this is the bridge with the overlook. Whoa! If I dropped my phone there, I'd never see it again. None of you would see this video, so. How cool. It's a very narrow canyon. It's a very stark feature. Well, that's one of the things that I love about the national parks is they're always just full of surprises. It was definitely not something I was expecting to see. Narrow, deep canyon like that with the water just raging down below. And part of it was going beneath a boulder. Wow.
One of the hikes that I was considering going on was called the Skyline Trail. The problem was I wasn't able to find it on the park map that was provided to me, and I had no cell service, so I wasn't able to do a search for it either. For now, I just continued driving around the park and taking in the sights.
You can tell this thing is just absolutely massive. All right, well, here's the plan. I'm at Narada Falls currently. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. I'm gonna walk down to the falls overlook. It's about 0.1 miles. Looks like there is a little bit of elevation change. Nothing too crazy, but there should be a pretty nice overlook down here. After that, I'm gonna go to the visitor center, and then I'm gonna head back to camp.
I figured that if I wasn't able to come up with a good hike for today, I could always try again the next day, and hopefully there might also be less cloud cover then as well. I still had no idea how to find this skyline trail that I wanted to hike.
The most luxuriant and the most extravagantly beautiful of all the alpine gardens I ever beheld in all my mountaintop wanderings.
It turned out that the Skyline Trail was actually accessible from the visitor center that I was at. I decided to go for it. The section of the Skyline Trail that I decided to hike begins at the visitor center and goes up to Glacial Vista with about 1.4 miles in each direction and around 1,500 feet of elevation gain.
So just starting out, and already this incline is intense. So yeah, I think I read that this trail is 2 miles total, which makes sense if it's 1 mile in each direction. But supposedly over this 1 mile, there's 1,500 feet of elevation gain, which checks out so far. Going way up. And I'm already up in altitude. I think about 6,000 feet now. So I may have to take it slow here. There's all the snow around me. I've got my hoodie on right now. I might take it off. I'm actually warm. It was saying this was an unmarked trail that required expert navigational skills. I mean, so far it's just a concrete trail though. Okay, that's better. Yeah, this trail really goes up. I can see why they say expert navigational skills needed. As soon as you get up to a certain point, the path just completely disappears into the snow. You can kind of see a glacier way up there. It's blue. When I was at the visitor center, I saw a sign that said elevation 5,400 feet. I believe the summit of Mount Rainier is 14,400, something like that. Meaning from the visitor center, which was already pretty elevated, you still have another 9,000 feet to go. It's wild. Preserve fragile meadows, stay on paved trail. Oh, sure. Sure thing. I'll do just that. Are we there yet? Genuine question, I honestly don't know. Well, I do have some kind of marker here. That's good. I see people way up there. Wow. Well, earlier today I was starting to worry that I wasn't going to get a real hike in. I don't think I have to worry about that anymore. Still getting more trail markers up here, which is good. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Ooh.
It's so nice. It's just all the conditions meet perfectly. You have to.
Just passed by a big expedition. I'm kind of wondering if they went to the summit. I'm wondering how far I'm going to go. It's starting to rain a little bit. Still a few trees ahead, but I think I'm almost getting above the tree line. I'm just not totally sure where this specific glacial overlook is, or if I've already seen it and I'm just going further. This feels like more than a mile at this point. So I'm starting to think I'm going to turn back soon. Wow.
A lot of people were coming down the mountain at this point, but not too many people were going up it. One person I talked to mentioned that there was a pretty bad blizzard up ahead.
Okay guys, well, it's starting to rain. I've already gotten some pretty nice views of these glaciers, I think. And honestly, I just don't know how far this is supposed to go for. So, given all that, I think I'm going to turn back. I think that's going to do it for this one. Thanks like always for coming along. Hope you guys had fun. I know I did. Until next time, catch you later. Peace.